That's where everything happened. Now, when we were kids, Middletown was a lot smaller than it is now. I'm going to share just a little story to put some things in perspective about Middletown. When I was about 18, I bought a motorcycle from Gary Evans. That motorcycle had been around several people in town, and it was a Honda 250 Scrambler, and it went really fast. It had these little butterflies that would open up and ran better. Well, I was coming from Colleen's mother's place. We were courting, and I'm not too sure what she thought of me, but Colleen kept me around. I was coming through town, kind of late at night, and the pipes were open, and it ran way better. Late at night with the pipes open, and the Chevron station is where the car wash is now. There was a highway patrolman there getting gas. And I don't know what the speed limit was through town, but I was going a whole lot more than what the speed limit was. And he looked up, and I thought, snap decision. I have no choice. And I gave that motorcycle all it had, and it did go fast. And I kept going until I got to Grange Road where our ranch is. And I turned there and I shut that thing down, shut the lights off, and I stopped. That highway patrolman went by really fast, lights and sirens. He never caught me. Being Middletown, the next day, how many of you remember Felix Eastman in the Jolly Cone? Felix said to me, "To get you." What are you talking about? To get you? I heard you all the way home. I just said, nope. Well, that was Middletown. Wayne probably had a few instances like that as a young man growing up. He shared some things with all of us, and I'm not going to quote any of them, but they had a really good time growing up in Middletown, just like we did. And when Wayne came back here and became the barber, he was the spirit of Middletown. Now, at football games, he did not need an announcer because Wayne was able to cheer longer and louder than everybody. He gave haircuts to all the football team because he liked them. I'm sure he never gave a haircut to a referee. He questioned every call, long and loud. And he loved and supported the youth of this town. I think that there are hundreds of youth are better for having had the opportunity to know Wayne and associate with him and be supported by him. Supported the youth, he supported the military, the fire department, the police, all that served. He supported them very, very, very well. And Wayne was on the fire board. Now, I've seen pictures of the old Middletown Volunteer Fire Department. Calvin and Martha's dad were there. Marvin, you know who was sitting in the front row? Wayne Nelson, Bill's dad. He had a coat and a tie on. I don't know what, I didn't think those were allowed. But the volunteer fire department was made up of, nobody was trained, they just went and did it. And it was considerably different when Wayne was on the fire board. But Bill Nelson, he was a very quiet man. Wayne was not. Bill worked out at what was called the radio station, which became the Coast Guard station, which is now just Fresh Rocks and Rattlesnakes. Well, we lived out there on the ranch, same place, same house I lived in now, I lived in then, and the bus stopped at Grange Hall, which is gone and burnt down in the Valley Fire. And I'd be walking up Grange Road, and Bill worked the swing shift a lot. And here he'd come, and he'd stop and he'd give me a ride home on his way to work. And that saved me a lot of walking. It was really, really nice. Middletown, everybody knew you and you knew everybody and everybody knew everything about everybody and their business. And it was a good thing. We never really got away with anything because somebody knew and they told somebody else. But we never got in trouble. Larry, did we ever get in trouble? Gary, we never did. Not that we're going to admit. But it was a wonderful place to grow up. And when Wayne came back here, He brought back some of what is old Middletown. Now, those of us that are old Middletown, we like it here. We're here for a reason. We want to be here. Wayne wanted to be here. He loved life. He loved the kids here. He loved his family very, very much. And I have to say, I'm proud to say that I was a friend of Wayne's. I try to be a friend to everybody in Middletown. Some would disagree with that, probably. But being here and growing up, Wayne was a great example to the youth of Middletown. How many of you are former football players who got your hair cut from him? Stand up here. There's some. There's one right there. Yes. And Bill, was there any greater supporter of the football team than Wayne?
Man, he was a fixture at those games. I gotta tell you.
Yep. And he told the referees what he thought.
Yeah.
Long and loud. Middletown is something that's within all of us. I feel we're all a little better and stand a little taller for having had a long association with Wayne. He's in every one of us. Now, when the football games start here in a few weeks, we're not going to hear him actually barking at the referees. But if you listen quietly enough, it'll be there. It'll be there when Jack's catching the PATs after the touchdowns, the cheering. Wayne's going to hear all that. And he'll be contributing, and you're going to feel it in your heart. Think of Wayne. We don't have a barber shop in town, and they have a lot of beauty shops. They have not a barber shop. No offense to the beauty shop. There's nothing quite like a barber shop. And his coming back here and opening that barber shop was a fulfillment of something that was good for Wayne, something that was good for Middletown, and was something that was good for every one of us. And we're better for it. Wayne, we miss you. We love you. You're never going to be gone. What you stood for, what you lived for, is in every one of us. Thank you, Wayne, for your life and what you meant to us and what you did for us. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you, Jim. That was great. Let's see. Next on our agenda here, as it's been told, we lived in Silicon Valley for quite a while. We lived in San Jose, and we knew some really wonderful. We had some really wonderful friends there. Ed and Nancy came up all the way from there, and we loved them very much. And also another couple, Linda and Frank. They have come up, and Frank is going to speak next and talk about some good memories of our life down there. So, Frank.
My name is Frank Delgado. I'm a friend of Wayne's from Milpitas, California. Thank you, Bonnie, for asking me to speak. And, I just wrote this down here real quick while I was listening to people speak. But, Wayne really, he loved Middletown. He couldn't wait to get back here. And, we really didn't want to lose him. He was a great guy. And, but after seeing this crowd and hearing what you guys have to say about him, I can really understand why, he wanted to get back here to Middletown. It's a great place. So I met Wayne and Bonnie in Alcoholics Anonymous. Wayne was one of those guys that welcomed me with a huge bear hug and a genuine smile. He was enthusiastic about greeting new members in general. I think he wanted to let us know we were welcomed, and more importantly, that we were finally home. Wayne didn't care if we were from Park Avenue or Park Bench. He treated all of us the same, all the new guys the same. And I'm not sure if the nickname Wayno followed him around. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's what we called him down there. The guys at the retreat and the guys at the meetings that he went to. When Wayne would walk in the door, a few of us guys would yell out, "Wayno!" You know, similar to the way they would welcome Norm at the TV show Cheers. And you know, Wayne would try to minimize it, but you know, he loved the attention, so you know, we kept it up. I was hosting my sponsor's memorial when I heard from Bonnie that Wayne had passed. You know, it marks the end of an era for me and for many others in AA, especially in the Bay Area, where Wayne was known. Wayne and my sponsor, Frank, were very, very close. They came into the program around the same time. They attended meetings together. They shared a room together at the San Juan Bautista Retreat for over 30 years. They were both extremely important to our sobriety, especially in the early days when we were brand new. I mean, they were really a pair, you know, one never went anywhere without the other. Wayne and Frank had things that many of us aspired to. Among them were their genuine happiness and joy for life, which can be difficult for someone new to understand. They gave their time to us freely, and we were all forever grateful to them both. You know, when I think about Wayne, the thing that really sticks out to me the most is his sense of humor. You know, even though it can be kind of twisted sometimes. And I have a story that I tell about his sense of humor all the time. I'm not gonna read this, if I can tell this. So I was speaking at my very first AA meeting. I was telling my story to this group for the very first time. Man, was I nervous. You know, I was really, really nervous. I was standing up in front of a bunch of people like this. My mom was the secretary of the meeting at the time, and I was probably talking a mile a minute. You know, it was just all a big blur. And I'm just standing up there talking. And the main part of the group was kind of situated like this, and then they had a row in the very back of the meeting, which was the non-smoking row. It was hilarious. So 30 people were smoking, and you had a non-smoking row in the back. With an aisle straight down the middle, similar to this. And Wayne and Frank and a couple other guys were sitting in that back row, and I could see Wayne directly. So I think I was just kind of like speaking to him, you know, so that I could relax. And I was, you know, looking at him, and I'd look down, and I'd look up at him, and I'd look down. And then I looked up, and he's sitting there with a cup of coffee in his hand, dunking his dentures into it. You know? Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. He puts it in his mouth like a donut, you know, and I go, I didn't do it. You know. I was like trying to tell everybody, and I couldn't say anything. The whole meeting turns around, and Wayne goes, and they all look back at me like, oh, poor kid, you know, he's breaking up. And so I get my thoughts together. You know, I start talking again, and he freaking does it again. And this time I go, his teeth. And they all look, and he does the same thing, you know, like. And this time the meeting looked at me, and I felt like they all had this kind of like sad look on their face, like they felt bad for me, like, oh, it's just too much pressure for him, he can't take it, you know. But that guy, man, you know, thankfully he left his teeth in his mouth the rest of the night. And I brought a picture back there to prove it. So there's a picture of him going like that with his dentures out. No, man, he was a crack up. So Wayne was very, very passionate about carrying the message of Alcoholics Anonymous to others. We learned the most from him before and after meetings when he shared his wisdom with us. The talks with him in the parking lot outside the meeting place or at a local diner were so useful and so valuable to us, like Wayne also. I'm sure it was valuable to Wayne also, as it is in giving that we receive. And I learned that from Wayne too, and so did all of us. He was not patient with whiners though, and that was fine. We learned that whining wasn't useful to us anyway. He was a regular at the Father Ralph Fowl annual men's retreat in San Juan Bautista. He attended it for over 30 years. After moving to Cobb Mountain from the Bay Area and before he gave up his motorcycle, Wayne would ride down and meet up with us in the Bay Area, and then we would ride to the retreat together. And you know, we were all at least 20 years younger than this guy, and none of us could keep up with him. I mean, he was blazing. He had in his Goldwing, on his BMW, whatever it was, man, we were just pulling on the throttle, and that guy was just leaving us. Wayne had a favorite place at the retreat called The Point. It's a very quiet and serene place at the east edge of the property. It's where most of the men at the retreat watch the sunrise each morning. It overlooks farmland below, and there are beautiful rolling hills beyond. There's a gazebo at the far edge of the point with a bench in it that faces the east. The point was dedicated to a retreat master that Wayne knew very well. Each year, Wayne would drop his things at his room and go sit quietly on the bench, staring into the distance. He usually had one arm up on the back of the bench as if he were sharing that time with someone. I don't know what he was thinking, but I imagine he was reflecting on the past year, good and bad. Maybe he was experiencing gratitude. It might have been where he let go of the burdens of his everyday life just for that weekend. Perhaps he was remembering or celebrating the life of men that attended the retreat but are no longer with us, the same way that we're celebrating Wayne's life now. I'll never know what he was thinking, but his time at the point inspired me, and many others. It inspired me to reflect on and to enjoy the beauty around me. My wife Linda and I have made quite a few trips to Middletown, Cobb Mountain, and Clear Lake to spend time with Wayne and Bonnie. We have very fond memories of watching the deer on their property, meeting folks in town, enjoying a burger at Beulah's, and having breakfast at the Cowpelt Cafe. I got my first flat top at Wayne's Middletown Barbershop, and I know. I used to be able to grow hair, so. In closing, I want to let everyone know here that Wayne will always be remembered at the San Juan Bautista Retreat. We have a ceremony there every year where we read out loud the names of every man that attended the retreat, but is no longer with us. It's called the Deceased Retreatants Mass. So every single man that has attended will be remembered. I want you to know, though, that this year Wayne's name will be added to that list, and he'll be forever remembered in this way. During this year's ceremony, his name will be called out by all 100 plus men in unison during a very special time at the end of the ceremony that will be dedicated to him. He will be in our hearts always, and his legacy will live on in this way. We love you, Wayne, and we miss you very much. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Frank. We call Frank Little Frank because his sponsor was Big Frank. I'd like to do some more thank yous right now. And I think that this is a good time to thank Wayne's family. We have the Menzios and the Patchies, McMahons, did I say that right? And of course the Nelsons. And there's just a whole lot of us, and it's a long story. So I want to especially thank Shirley Patchy and Martha Menzio. They've been such a great help to me in the past couple of days and before that too. And this just wouldn't have happened. This wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for them. And it was a lot of fun hanging out with them yesterday. And so I really do love you, Shirley and Martha. And I loved all the Nelsons and all of Wayne's relatives. I'm going to introduce one of Wayne's brothers, Eric Nelson, and his late wife, Karen, was very special to all of us. And Afton and her husband, Eric with a K, and son Leifer here today, and Michael. And anyway, Wayne and I spent a lot of really nice Christmas days with them. We have a heck of a time a good heck of a time on Christmas Eve where we all crowd into Evelyn Nanny's house in Middletown, but the next day it was nice and serene over at Eric and Karen's. And anyway, Wayne always loved his little brother Eric, and so Eric, would you like to say a few words? There he is.
Well, hello, thanks for everybody coming. Wayne loved this town, and he used to love to come up here when I was little, and being raised in a older family and having brothers on both sides and everything and learning different things. Wayne was the one that taught me kind of things that you should probably do. He loved to go fast, and when I was really little, he had a real fast little sports car, and he took me to, we went to Fort Bragg, we went up to Lake Shasta. It was with his first wife, Sue, and he showed me how fast that car would go, and I was pretty young. Well, about a couple weeks later, he was by himself, and he rolled that car, and he was lucky he was alive. So that was that first phase. Then the other one is the biker part, and he used to come up with all his biker buddies, and he was in I think it was in the 70s, and he had he had the bike that was a really nice bike, but he'd bring all his friends up, and my dad, he used to call them Bomber. He'd say, open the gate, Bomber's come in, and I don't know how many he's got. He's probably got 35 following him, and shut the gate when he gets in. So they'd all go out to the old millstone out there outside of Anderson Springs, but now it's gone. And he loved to take his buddies out there, and they'd all go out there, and I mean they were all from San Jose, and they all had good jobs, but they're all pretty rough looking. So that was that phase. Then he got into the Goldwyn phase, and then he was riding all over, and he wore, it wasn't with the biker bunch. Then he got into the BMW bunch. And anyway, he loved to go fast. One time we were in his bass boat, and he said it goes 72 miles an hour. And I said, I don't care, we're going fishing. He had to go 72 miles an hour, so I could see that thing go 72 miles an hour. So he enjoyed everything. He enjoyed life. And he loved Middletown. He loved to go to all the football games. I mean, kind of in our family, we see him, but we wouldn't stand by him because we didn't want to get kicked out. Anyway, thank you for coming. As he always says, tap the light for you.
Thank you, Eric. Another thing Wayne used to say, and it pertained to bikes, was keep the sunny side up. Okay, I'm going to share a few memories about Wayne, and I'm going to get a couple sad ones out of the way first. The saddest day that, or time with Wayne was when he died, and I guess sometime, leading up to that. That was probably one of my saddest times. And another sad time was when we were talking about separating. We were always very, very good friends. And I know we did need to separate, but it wasn't easy. And another sad time was when he was sick, like when he got sick with the cancer. And like Laura said, he never complained or asked, why me? And those were the sad times. And there, for every sad time, there was, thousands of happy times. And as the song that I wrote that Steve saying, the way that we met, it was actually in an AA meeting. We were sitting in some, maybe long tables, like 2 of these rows. I was sitting where little Frank's sitting, and Wayne was probably sitting maybe where Maggie's sitting. And I already had a crush on him, but I remember I looked over at him and he gave me this big old wink. And I was done for after that. And I think it was the next day after he died, I closed my eyes and I could see his face and I could see him giving me that big old wink. And then I wrote the song. It started off as a poem, and then it turned into a